Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see people, or at least hopefully people are on the call. I know it's been a very rough start to the week. I happen to live up here in the Northeast. We've dealt with a very dangerous, nasty storm. So I feel like I'm just getting back into the real life again because we had to shovel out for the last couple of days. But that's not really anybody's problem on this call, unless somebody is a Northeasterner like myself. But glad to be here today. My name is Mark Magerman. I'm the head of brokerage for Franchise Empire. We bring you this weekly discussion regarding, we call it our weekly newsletter. We're going to talk about all things franchising. Usually my partner in crime is our founder, Tarek Johnson, and we kind of go back and forth on these. Tarek's traveling today. Hopefully he gets home okay. And we'll look forward to having him back next week. But before we get started with our information for today, we always like to put this disclaimer up on the screen. Rahman, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. That's good. And now if we can just show the agenda, Rahman, that would be awesome. So just kind of going through this quickly, we're going to, in 5 minutes or less, we're going to discuss another resale like we always do, some interesting information regarding a new resale we have for you. We're going to look at Home2 Suites, hotel opportunity. Is that a good investment? You know, what are some of our thoughts? And we'd love to hear some of yours. As also, we always like to share one of our candidates' success stories. It's very rewarding for us here at Franchise Empire when we meet a candidate and guide them and they become franchise owners and do really well. So we'll share Lakesha's story today. You see on the bottom, www.franchiseempire.com/newsletter. So for those of you who are on this call, if you're getting it live, if you'd like to subscribe, we get this out into your email box on Sundays. And just click the link below and it'll take you right there. And again, it's always chock full of information and there's a lot of other benefits to becoming a member here. So we hope you do that. And then lastly, today, we're going to go over a video that Tarek did about get rich with boring businesses in 2026. It's really kind of funny because it just works out that way, that the more boring businesses, as it relates to consumers' opinion, tends to be the most lucrative. So as always, we're going to action pack this stuff in hopefully about 20 to 25 minutes. Anybody who's on live, if you want to ask a question or just have a comment, you can just put your comment in the chat line and we'll share it real live. And if not, and you're just here to listen, then hopefully there's some good information here for all of you. So let's keep going. There's a beautiful picture of our wonderful team. Again, I'll just mention this before we go down a little further, but we do offer a complimentary and our proprietary zero to profitable franchise system. As soon as you sign up with Franchise Empire, like I just said, chock full of information. And we do know firsthand that franchise candidates who are interested in franchising, who dive into our modules and really embrace them, are a lot more likely to become franchise owners than those who don't. So again, www.franchiseempire.com/newsletter will get you subscribing and get you into our system. Thank you. Okay, let's go over our resale. So today our resale comes to us from Raleigh, North Carolina. It is a home services and a remodeling business. So we don't like to share the name of the brand, but this is home services sector in the remodeling space. The asking price of this business is $350,000. The prior gross year sales, $379,800. We'll offer our comments and opinions shortly. So what is this brand? So this brand is part of a family of other brands, meaning the franchisor has multiple brands under their roof and they manage all these brands. We tend to love these kinds of brands because they are very professional and they have always franchisee success and satisfaction as a forefront of what they do, which really resonates very well with what we do as well. So this is a part of a larger family of brands. So what that will mean is it'll give you an opportunity to scale this business by not only purchasing other selling franchisees that may be selling in this brand, but becoming part of the family of brands might give you access to other resales or growth opportunities along your experience as a franchise owner that the public won't get. So again, lots of advantages being part of a professional operation such as this. Very experienced leadership at the franchisor level. all the way down from the executives that we know, all the way to the franchise development people who've been around for many, many years, amongst the best, most qualified, experienced, talented franchise development folks. And as I said, very strong um, validation. In other words, very happy, successful group of franchisees that you certainly can validate with as you go part of that, as you go down the due diligence pathway. As is the case in all resales, I know I sound like a broken record when I talk about this, but prior leadership and or management experience is very, very important, especially if this is the first business you've ever invested in. Sometimes people get lost and get kind of blinded by thoughts of lots of profit in a company. And they sometimes take their foot off the gas as it relates to their due diligence. And what we found is the first business that you ever get involved with, it shouldn't be a resale because there's just so many moving parts. Again, that's just a guideline. But if you've had senior management experience, that may be an alternative. But normally, we don't usually recommend a resale as your first business for reasons I'd love to get into more specifically. Now, again, this is one resale that we're discussing, but we do have hundreds of other resales. So if you see this click link below, franchiseempire.com/resales, that will get you into our system where we can talk to you about other resales that may be available in your area or in other industries. But back to this one again. If you have had ownership of the business before, that's very much of a strong positive. And also getting a pre-approval letter from a lender before you engage talking to the seller, very, very important. Again, I know I say this each week, but I'll continue to say it just to not waste anybody's time. I was a franchisee. We were selling it. We had a resale. We had many, many people interested in our resale because it was a very profitable, thriving business that we had developed. And if somebody came to us that was interested as a potential candidate, they did not have any financial approval. They had no bank letter. They had nothing. I honestly just never even called them back. They may have been great candidates, but we wouldn't have even got that far. So please do yourself a favor. If you're thinking about getting involved in resales or for that matter, any type of business ownership, try to get yourself some type of pre-approval letter. They're not hard, but they will save you a lot of time and stress. Thank you for that. And again, as I said, you can always find other resales that we may have in our inventory by clicking the link below, getting one of our pros to talk to them. They will set you in the right direction, and we hope you do that as well. Thanks. All right, as we go along, if you have any questions on that resale, you can hit the chat button or just send it in and we'll get to you later. We always like to talk about one of our many candidates that has become successful. In this case, it was Lakesha. She'd already experienced entrepreneurship. She'd already been a prior owner, and she knew firsthand what it felt like when the fit wasn't right. She made a mistake, and that's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. It's not okay to make the same mistake twice. After stepping away from a food deli she owned with her husband, she went back to the drawing board. This time, she was determined to find a business with flexibility, long-term stability, and real scalability. She obviously concluded that the deli was not for her. And as an ex-food franchise owner as well, I would say she made a good decision. With over 20 years as a behavior therapist and a background in engineering, she had the leadership, structure, and problem-solving skills. What she needed was the right vehicle. I can't emphasize this enough. We can really help people who come to us by finding the right brand. But as you see here with Lakesha, she brings quite an acumen and success to the table, which is just going to make her that much more desirable to the franchisees that we introduce, that we suggest she gets introduced to. She met our broker, Chris. Well, we mentioned Chris before here. Chris showed her, and she looked at multiple franchise models, and she narrowed in on a service-driven painting business that had strong systems and strong growth potential and scalability. The simplicity of the model combined with the clear operational support made it the right match for Lakesha and her family. As Chris said, Lakesha was very intentional from the start. She learned from her previous experience, stayed open, and focused on building something sustainable this time. Today, Lakesha owns 2 territories in a very scalable painting franchise and is building a business designed for long-term success. Sometimes the first chapter teaches you exactly how to win in the second. We say congratulations to Lakesha. And boy, there's a real message back there. I've yet to meet the perfect person who doesn't make a mistake. Unfortunately, sometimes you do invest and make a bad business mistake. I've done that myself. The key is learning from that mistake and not repeating it. It sounds like Lakesha learned from her mistake, and it sounds like Chris was very, very willing to help her navigate this. And it looks like a very tremendous success story all the way around. So congratulations, Lakesha. We hope we get an invitation to her grand opening so we could share her success with her. So congrats on that, Lakesha. All right. As you know, we look at top franchises across the country every week. We don't really make too many claims about it. We just like to share some information so you guys can decide if it makes sense or not. You scroll up a little bit. I just want to read that last sentence, Rahman, if I could. So franchise resales possess many benefits for aspiring business owners: established cash flow, experienced employees, system in place, and brand awareness, to name a few. That goes back to our comment on resales. We're not necessarily talking about resales, but this is the brand of the week, Home2 Suites by Hilton. So we're talking about the hotel industry. Very scary as far as I'm concerned, but let's learn a little bit about it. 2009, Hilton decided it was time to shake up the extended stay hotel market. Only 2009, not that far back. It had been 20 years since they launched a new hotel brand, and they saw an opportunity to serve long-term travelers differently, and I would add more efficiently. 2 years later, the first Home2 Suites property opened, built around a simple idea: give travelers more space, more comfort, and more amenities without the luxury price tag. Instead of traditional hotel layouts, Home2 Suites focused on suite-style rooms with kitchenettes, flexible furniture, pet-friendly policies, and community-centered spaces like fire pits and outdoor grills. They even introduced Spin 2 Cycle, a combined fitness center and laundry room designed for extended stays. Now, that's a good combination, Rahman. Spin center and laundry room. Get your laundry done while you're exercising. Two birds with one stone. Fast forward to today, the brand has grown, very rapidly. As of December 2023, there were 595 hotels open. In 2024, they added 68 more, bringing the total to 663 United States locations. What's unique? 0 company-owned properties. What that means is every single one of the 663 are owned by a franchise owner. Maybe they own several, but no corporate-owned entities. I'll give my opinion later, but that's a good and a bad thing. Every single Home2 Suites is a franchise-owned, so let's see what it takes to own one on your own. And here's just some of the numbers that we took out of the FDDs. Total investment, $15.6 million to $24.4 million. So right out of the gate, this is really eliminating probably 99% of candidates in the country who want to own a franchise. And again, this is to build and get one open. So usually I would be willing to gamble that franchisees interested in this brand and this lifestyle are building more than one. But again, this is not for the faint of heart. This is a major, major investment. They have a $100,000 franchise application fee, which I will assume is refundable. I don't know that for a fact, but that's a question you want to ask. Boy, it's going to be tough to put $100,000 up on the table that's not refundable if you don't get approved, but I assume that is a refundable number. The monthly program fee is 3.5% of gross room revenue. You're paying that fee. You're also paying a royalty fee of 6% gross of the room revenue, and a room addition fee, $400 per guest room or suite. So these fees add up to what you're going to be paying the franchisor on a monthly basis. Who's the right candidate for something like this? Obviously, we're talking about high net worth investor, or in many cases, my experience tells me these are mostly investor groups that are getting involved with deep pockets, and maybe having an operator or a CEO or some level person working for them that's going to be the day-to-day operator. It's not an entry-level franchise by any stretch. Requires significant capital and long-term thinking and planning. Real estate focused operator. being comfortable managing large-scale hospitality assets rather than small retail businesses. And again, a big part of being successful in these types of businesses is having some experience, because you're going to be building these from the ground floor up, right? So you have to know how to manage contractors. You have to, obviously, you'll get a lot of support from the brand, but if this is the first venture into franchising, you might want to start a little bit smaller. They're also looking for long-term hold investors. Hotels are typically longer-term wealth plays, not quick cash flow businesses. You're investing $15 million. You're probably not turning that profit in the first couple of years, so you're hanging on to this for a lot longer. And again, they're looking for people who are portfolio builders, often fit groups that already own multiple hospitality or commercial real estate assets. That's really the sweet spot for these types of businesses. People who have done these before, have the experience to operate it, have people that can be put in place as day-to-day operators. But again, this is the type of candidate they're looking for. And if you're part of a group or you're trying to put together an investment group, they probably would love to talk to you. Thanks, Rockman. Just a little bit of the numbers. We're going to scroll past this, Rockman. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. If they give us a little bit more, just scroll down. You guys can look at these numbers. They're meaningful if you're interested, but I'm not going to spend too much time today just reading those. But here's some of the benefits of the franchisee. What do you get in return for your investment? Obviously backed by the power of the Hilton brand, global recognition, and reservation infrastructure. No one has to tell anybody who Hilton is. Extended stay model stability. Longer guest stays can provide steadier occupancy, more a recurring cash flow for your operator. You might get to keep rooms for months or 2 months at a time instead of constantly churning them. An all franchise system, no company-owned competition within the brand. I guess that's a good thing. I personally like when a franchisor is also operating a company-owned unit. That means they have their hands in as a franchisee every day and they live that life. So I don't know that that's a great thing. That's just my opinion, but you'd want to ask about that as well. Very strong occupancy metrics, 78.8% average occupancy, demonstrates very strong demand. At a premium asset class, large-scale commercial real estate with long-term appreciation potential. So, as a sophisticated buyer would know, you're not only going to make money on this as a operator of a hotel, you're also going to have value in the real estate, because in most cases you're buying the land and owning the building. Although I'm sure there's some rental models as well. Again, probably all these questions that you'd be asking of the franchisor. So that's a little bit about the brand. Again, not for everybody, but it's fun to kind of poke around in these. And I don't know if you've got some experience in business and you think the hotel business is right for you. Well, there you go. You got one to chat about. And again, on the bottom of the screen, you'll see www.franchiseempire.com/check territory. Why does it say check territory? Because again, if you're interested in this brand or other brands, what we can do is we meet with you. We find out a little bit about what you're trying to do. We then try to match you up with brands that might be suited for you. And we check territories. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense for us to help you with a brand if it's not available in your area. The first way to know if there's a brand that you might be interested in your area is to click that link below and set up a consultation with one of our colleagues. And last but not least, Tarek does an amazing job with content, very interesting videos, and we always learn a lot every time we get to hear one of his podcasts. This one, and we love this, is called "This Boring in Big Caps Business is Making Millions of Dollars in 2026." I'm going to make a comment on boring businesses in a minute, but budget blinds might sound boring, but this home service franchise is quietly generating serious revenue. In this video, we break down how much it costs to start a budget blinds franchise, what franchisees are actually making, how the royalty model how the royalty model is changing in 2026, and whether this is a truly good investment. Tarek's personally looked into buying a resale himself. He knows of multiple owners in the system. If you're looking for a low-cost franchise that isn't flashy but has real numbers behind it, this breakdown will help you decide if this boring business could actually build wealth. and comment below if you ever own a business like this. What I'm going to say about boring businesses is there's nothing boring about making a lot of money every single year with recurring revenue, happy customers, and repeat business. So budget blinds might sound boring, but to me, it's not. Because you talk to these franchise owners who've been operating these businesses for a couple of years now. Not only has their lifestyle enhanced because now they've got these real profitable businesses, they've got a real professional team that's managing this business for them while they provide oversight. But they making good margins, and for the most part, home-based businesses. They might be boring, but I tell you what, I think they're very exciting. So this is a little bit about budget blinds. And if you can get this on YouTube or wherever you listen to your day-to-day podcast, this is episode 164 with Franchise Empire, Tarek Johnson. I think that will be a wrap for this week. Usually we do go a little longer, but I had no one to joke around with, so it was just me. But again, if there's any comments, questions, you saw the links below. We would love to talk to you about franchise opportunities that you might be thinking about. Even if you don't know how serious you are, but you want to learn about what it takes, we'd love to chat with you as well. Thank you guys all for joining me. If you're on the live broadcast, if you heard this a different time, please let us know what you think, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Rahman, thank you as always, and everybody. If you're up in the Northeast, stay safe and warm and dry. If you're not, you're very lucky. Thank you.